Would ask for you at this time to make sure all your cell phones, electronic devices are turned down or off so they won't interrupt. And we'll start off with our invocation. Ms. Blue, would you like to do that, please?
Father, we come to you today as a collection of men and women who are here to decide and make decisions for the community. We ask for your wisdom, we ask for your grace, and we ask for your blessings. In everything that we do, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I haven't seen any changes to the agenda, so do I have a, go ahead.
One item, yes, sir, we do need to add. I need to add is number 5.
Take your mic around to you there, sir.
I need to add under item number 5, under new business, we need to confirm a change order of Piedmont Paving and KB Autosys. And the reason that's coming back for you guys tonight is because you actually have a written contract, and I want to be sure we get all the change orders in there. It's associated with the failure of the compaction by GDOT. So just that's the reason it's on there. We're talking about that.
That's number 5 under new business.
We're going to remove number 4 under public hearing. We'll do a little bit more, because Adam was doing a little more research on that matter.
But what you just added was under new business number 5?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then number 4
will be the
under public hearings, we're going to take that off.
Right, we'll pull that.
Is there any other changes? If not, do I have a motion to accept the agenda with the adding of the number 5 and the removal of the number 4?
So moved.
Got a motion, have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. No presentations, right? Finance report, Mr. John.
Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners, in front of you have the bank balances as of today, about 4 o'clock. All finances look pretty stable. There's no concern on finances on anything paying our bills. The lost SPLOS and T-SPLOS allocations will be coming in Thursday. Finance estimates they'll be roughly about the same as July. Your second page SPLOS and T-SPLOS commitments. The $94,545.45 for the SCBA grant was received back into the general fund. It'll be moved back to the SPLOS. So that gives you available balance in the SPLOS of $216,713. T-SPLOS, when the allocation comes in, well, either way at that deficit of 203, it should be around 50 or 60,000. And I still believe there's a few gravel invoices out there, but it shouldn't either way the allocation. The overall financial, we're in pretty good shape going into the end of the fiscal year.
Any of the board members got a question for John? All right, thank you, Mr. John. Any department heads here to speak tonight?
Good evening, Commissioners. I have one thing that I need to talk to you guys about, and this is the bid requested surplus property located in Woodbury on Bray Road. I had advertised this piece of property for sale as surplus property, but I did not get any bids, so I need to re-advertise and have it open from tonight until November 4th. So just want to let you guys know about that.
Do we need to make a motion to do that, or she can just go ahead and advertise it again?
I would say we'll allow her to advertise it again and extend the date of bids until the November.
Make a motion based on the recommendation of Mr. Therengay.
Got a motion, got a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Any other department heads?
Mr. Chairman, just to update you on the waste management, I've sorted through the data. We're trying to find the latest host agreement. We found one, but I need to reach out to Bob Trimble and make sure we have the latest revision of the host agreement. Once I get that, hopefully I'll have a definite answer on what the audit performed from Waste Management provides. Also, Finance has ended its budget with all department heads. We are working on that to get a balanced budget, and we'll be presenting it with Mr. Theron before we bring it to the board, and expect something in your boxes and email within the next week or so for the budget.
Sounds good. All right, thank you. No citizen comments, correct? Don't need to read this. All right. So we need just to approve the minutes from, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Just going to give the board a quick update on the grant that we filed with Atlanta Humane and the Rachel Ray Foundation. Things are moving forward after a slight delay with the third party that they had hired to oversee the quotes and the bids. Right now, we're sitting at, it looks like we're leaning towards $50,000 for the shelter. We have quotes coming in for the roof and a parking lot pavement, and a landscaper came by today. Right now, as everything sits, we might be a little bit over 10,000 from the 50,000 into the 18,000 that y'all approved on the last time I brought the grant to y'all. So hopefully we'll start moving forward in the next couple of weeks, it sounds. I know they're finalizing the prep to present it to the Rachel Ray Foundation to get everything moving forward. So I'll update y'all when we get the next steps.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you,
I've been
sir.
doing a great job, appreciate that.
Thanks.
Okay. Minutes of the August 14th, 2024 regular meeting at 9:00 a.m. You had a chance to look over it. Does need to be any changes? We have a motion to adopt the minutes.
There was one change on the minutes that I called, just to let you know, I did add, under one of the titles, it should say T plus spending, as the title, it says spending, I've added that.
Okay.
too.
All right.
You just don't
Do I have a
have.
motion?
I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
And a second, all in favor?
I abstain.
All right, going right into a public hearing, the first one, we need a motion to go into case number P24-010, request from Carmen Diamond to rezone parcel 070009, 8.4 acres from LDR to RR for the continued use of a kennel and boarding facility.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? We are now in a public hearing on case, first one.
Okay, the applicant is here, Ms. Diamond, and coming before you, she's asking to rezone her property from LDR special use to RR for the continued use of her kennel and boarding facilities. Right now, she is under a special use where she's allowed to have 15 dogs and 40 puppies or 6 litters, whichever comes first. She is also supposed to have a letter with the help with Mr. Richmond, George Richmond, over if something was happening to her, he would take care of the animals if it need be. And additionally, she's was asked to also put a fence up on the south side of her property. Right now, I can't comment any further because she is in litigation with the county, but she is here to speak for you guys to answer any questions.
And this is a property that we rezoned from RR to this previously, now it wants to go back to RR?
I'm not familiar with the,
It was RD originally,
RD.
in the rural district, rural development districts, it was RD, and.
If you would, go ahead,
I'm
give your
sorry.
name and address, I'm sorry.
Sure, my name's Carmen Diamond, address 26353 Roosevelt Highway, Luthersville. I'm in the rural development district. It was originally zoned rural development when I purchased it. And it was changed to LDR special use in 2017. That was what the board decided to change the zoning to. And I'm requesting now to change it to rural reserve. You can't have a kennel with the zoning of RD. It has to be either LDR, rural reserve, or agriculture. If I knew at the time in 2017 that my property qualified for rural reserve or agriculture, I would have specifically requested it at that time, but I am aware of it now, thus the request. And for agricultural reasons as well, to raise livestock, possibly in the future.
You got some input?
Yes,
on
sir, I just wanted to put clarification. You can have an animal, kennel, dog and cats in an RR district. This just has to be, it is a allowable district in RR. It is a special district under LDR, which is what it was treated. So she moved it from RR to LDR, and the board granted a special use for kennel. Now, the problem that I see with Ms. Diamond, I just want to make sure everybody understands this, that if Ms. Diamond comes forth tonight and she already has an existing zoning as LDR with special use. And y'all have voted to limit the adult dogs to 6 months or older to 15 and allow 6 litters or no more than 40 puppies onto at the kennel. And of course, you have to have a solid wood fence, which has not been completed yet. Here's the issue: if she zones back to RR, then unless you guys are willing to turn around and replace these conditions onto the RR zoning, she's gonna be back down to 5 dogs, which is what's allowed under the county ordinance on kennels. So it's a matter of where she is now. The RR gains no benefit for her that I can see, unless she were wanting to cut back on the number of dogs. She's still gonna have to ask you guys to put the conditions back in that she already has on the LDR.
I need to clarify multiple things that I don't agree with that he said. I was never zoned rural reserve before. I'm in the rural development district. When I purchased the property, it was zoned rural development. So.
It says RR right here.
No, sir, no, sir. If
That
it,
makes more sense.
no, sir.
It actually makes more sense.
It was rural development. You can only be zoned low-density residential, which requires a special use permit, rural reserve, and agriculture. A kennel is a permitted use in those 2 zonings. Meaning, if I had purchased a property already zoned RR or agriculture, I would not even need to come in front of the board because the legal phrasing is you can have a kennel by right. Unfortunately, and I disagree with that too, sir, with all due respect, but unfortunately, when I purchased it, it was on RD, rural development, and the county determined to change it to low-density residential, and which requires a special use permit. In the animal control ordinance, I don't know the specific statute, but it does list kennels, specifically kennels, as an exception to dog limitations. If you want to act in a personal capacity, which is part of my motion for declaratory judgment, and you want to have more than 5 dogs if you're zone RR or agriculture, you need a waiver. If you are a kennel, which is a business, it specifically says that in the animal control ordinance, that that basically it's an exception to dog limitations. So I believe the restrictions that have been placed on me are erroneous. And in my motion, I cite quite a few documented evidence for that. My request now is exactly the same to the T as Ms. Deborah Brady, that the Planning Commission voted unanimously and this board voted unanimously to approve. She also is zoned in the Rural Development District at the top north end of the county. She was on RD. She came in to change to RR specifically for the purpose of a kennel, and the Planning Commission and this board voted unanimously. My request is exactly the same. I am in the RD district like her. I want to change to RR for the purpose of a kennel, which is why I'm requesting the change.
Ms. Sharp, let me ask you a question. What's the minimum acreage for RR zoning?
10 acres.
That's not correct.
Well,
sir.
it is correct.
That's not correct, sir.
It's right there.
10 acres.
That's not correct,
So
sir.
my point is, this is an 8+ acre tract.
That's not correct, sir.
Not even really eligible for,
That's not correct, sir.
well, anyway.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
Mr. Gay is correct. Section 7.1 of your zoning ordinances do have RR having a minimum lot acreage of 10 acres minimum, which is probably the reason that when she rezoned from RD to LDR 7, 8 years ago, whenever that was, that it was LDR that was chosen because she was not eligible for RR.
I'd like to clarify that as
And
well.
because the
Sure,
LDR
sorry.
acreage is a 5 acre minimum, and she does qualify under that.
You got 8.
Because she's got
So
8.4, that's
the
correct.
clarification on that in the fine print beyond what he just said is if you have 2 or more acres on a paved road or 5 or more acres on an unpaved road, you qualify for RR and agriculture as well.
But can I ask you this?
Yes, sir.
If you're able to have 15 dogs now, 6 litters and so forth, where does it even benefit to reverse it? 'Cause you're
Well,
gonna
we're
have
not
less
reversing.
dogs.
Well, we're not reversing, because if we reverse, I go back to RD. I was
I'm
originally
talking about to go
RD.
from the zoning, you're asking for rezoning from what you are now to what you're requesting.
The same reason that Ms. Brady did it, because it's a permitted use, you can have a kennel by right
Ms. Brady also understands she's got to come before waiver.
No, well, I don't know if you all read the motion, but there are 11 licensed kennels that are documented. We aren't even talking about the ones that aren't. I am the only one that has restrictions. So in practice, and also by admission, Mr. Garrett in 2010 did admit that for personal use you need a waiver. It's in the minutes, but for a kennel it does not apply. So by admission and in practice, that's what this county's been doing.
I think we're kind of confusing some.
Correct, you're here on a rezoning, you're not here on the litigation that she has filed. Your question is whether or not you want to rezone this from LDR to RR and whether she qualifies
And I
under
do.
RR. And no,
I do.
The acreage minimum is quite explicit. The road frontage has to deal with the residential definition for that part of the definition.
Nothing to do with this, it's all purely residential.
Does the question have any, does the board have any questions?
No.
Yeah, I've got one. So the rezoning request we previously did in 2023 had conditions in line with it, and they've not been met. Yet
Oh,
you
that's not true either. There's so many things to clarify, I forgot. The stipulation was build a 6-foot fence if I had the dogs on that property line, housed on that property line, and they are not. They're not housed there. I don't have a structure there where they're housed. So it said if I have any building on there to house the animals, then I need to build a 6-foot privacy fence, not the whole length of the property, but where the dogs are housed, but they are not housed there.
It says where activity would be. Is what it thinks. Where activity would be, the property's 200 feet wide. Hard to not.
I remember that, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Need to see if there's anybody else wants to speak for or against.
Is there anybody here to speak for this, her request or against her request?
I have a couple of things, because I've been out there with this time.
Please do. Let's go ahead, Stephen.
George, just state your name.
George Richmond, Director for Meriwether County Animal Services. There are different levels of licenses that the state issues, and it's something that we did not look into in the past. Like say for Meriwether County, we pay $400 a year to have 80+ animals in our kennel. There's lower levels like at $100 level. If you have a $100 level for a breeder, you're only allowed to sell $5,000 a year worth of puppies. And you can also, if you do a $100 level for a kennel, you can only have up to 20 adult dogs. I'm not sure exact level that Ms. Diamond is at. State has reported at the bottom level. So we might already be exceeding the level of puppies by her state license, but we may also be doing that with other kennels. We might have to revisit other approved kennels to look at their levels of licensing throughout the county. And the last time I inspected, the kennels Ms. Diamond had were on the left side, running up and down. Have they moved since then?
They don't stay over there.
They don't stay over there?
No, they stay in the house.
They stay in the house now. So the outdoor kennels were on that side, but apparently she's moved them all inside. But I think we do need to look at every approved kennel breeder in the county that has a license, see what level they have, because we may be exceeding what the state license allows.
So the reason I did $100, it doesn't make sense to spend more if I'm only approved for 15.
I understand, and we've exceeded the 20-minute allowance there. Do I have a motion from the board to go out of a public hearing?
Does anybody else need to speak?
Does anybody else think?
I thought I had asked that.
He did ask that.
I asked anybody who wants to speak against it or for it, and he was the only one, so if that's the case, do I have a motion to go out of a public hearing?
So moved.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second, all in favor? All right, we're now out of the public hearing for this case. Do we have any kind of a motion from the board, whether to rezone it or leave it like it is, or table it till we get some more information?
I'll actually make a motion based on the information received from Mr. Gay as well as our legal counsel that we deny the request to rezone due to the stipulations of the acreage for the RR.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second, all in favor? Thank you. Our next case of public hearing number 2 is case number P 24-013. Request from Tricia Shelton to rezone parcel 004-016-001, 184.48 acres from RR to I for the proposed use of an industrial warehouse. Do I have a motion to go into this
So moved.
in a second?
Second.
And a second, all in favor? We are now in a open meeting, and if I could go ahead and state the applicant will have 20 minutes to present their case and so forth to us, and those who want to speak against it usually have 20 minutes, but I'd like to know how many are signed up to speak. I want to make sure everybody has a chance. How many are here to speak for it and against it, if you don't mind telling me?
You also need to make mention that the representing commissioners not here.
Yeah. I'll get that to them.
I think they're okay with moving forward.
No more signed up. We'll allow the 3 minutes a person if you need it. But also I wanted to mention to the applicant that the commissioner, Ms. Plant, is not here tonight. She became ill, and that is in her district, and it's the applicant's decision whether you want to move forward tonight or whether you'd rather wait till all 5 commissioners are here. I'd like to know that answer first before we move forward.
This is Mr. Valentine.
Good evening. I'm sorry the chairman's not feeling well, or I'm sorry, the commissioner's not feeling well.
State your name.
I'm sorry. William Valentine. I'm with Hillwood. It is my hope to be heard tonight, but I understand there may be questions both without her here and about the project in general. So if needed to continue,
We're going to give.
we have to say yes or no right now. If
I
it's
pass
going to be
that respect to you. If you want to move forward, the board's going to listen to it, and we go wherever we go. And if you want to wait and have it rescheduled because she wasn't able to be here, we'll make a motion to do that.
Mr. Valentine, the board has the ability to continue the special hearing to a date and time, to this public hearing to a date and time certain,
Okay.
so that everybody who's here also knows when that date and time certain is. But if they if they close the public hearing, that closes the evidence. They're not allowed to hear anything additional after the fact. And so that's why they either have to continue it to that, date and time certain, or they have to, move forward tonight.
And just so I'm clear, if I'm heard and the people who are for or against the project are heard this evening, and then there's not an opportunity to move to have a continuance after that point?
The board can continue it after the fact if they want to, as long as they don't close the public hearing and therefore close the evidence.
That will actually allow the floor to still be open for comments.
That's correct.
At the next meeting as well.
And the board has the ability to suspend their rule on 20-minute limits, and they may decide to do that to allow additional, other people who want to speak to do that if there's more people who sign up next week, et cetera, or next month.
It won't go that much over 20. That's the reason I was looking at it. So that's the reason I was going to stick with the regular rule where they get 3 minutes, and if somebody says what you was going to say and you don't want to speak, you can just go, hey, they said the same thing I was going to say. There's no sense in repeating it. But I want everybody to have the opportunity that wants to speak. So if it goes over 20 minutes, if the board approve that.
If you present and speak tonight and everyone else has a chance and opportunity to speak tonight, and we do continue this after that fact, just know that when you come back, you may or may not have the opportunity to represent at that point because it has already been presented before
Understood.
us. Okay.
I think I'd like to be heard this evening then, and I'd like the people who've come here to speak for and against to also be heard as they expected.
Mr. Chair, just to clarify, it's 20 minutes for each side. And what that means is if there's, 5 people, you're pretty much allocating 4 minutes to each person, unless they want to agree to have a spokesperson, they can yield their time, et cetera. But it's a 20 minutes for the side unless this board by a majority vote of who's here decides to add additional time.
I think we're gonna be fine, but do y'all wanna go ahead and make a motion that we'll give it 30 minutes tonight instead of 20?
That's fine. I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? So we got, each side's gonna have 30 minutes, max. The applicant will present himself. Those against it will speak. And then you'll have 5 minutes for rebuttal, and they'll have 5 minutes. And then we'll come out of the public hearing. Sandra, go ahead.
All right, so as you know, Mr. Valentine's here. He's with Hillwood. They are in contract with Ms. Shelton to purchase the 84.48 acres, and they're asking to rezone it from RR to industrial for the proposed use of light industrial logistic warehouse. We have done a lot of studying on this, especially since the last meeting. You guys have got a copy of all of the paperwork where we've done the studies, and we have the questions in reference to lighting and buffers. Unfortunately, I don't have a copy of that with me. I don't have a copy of it. It says here that they must use box lighting so that the lighting is not cast upon any adjoining properties. Property must be served by the Water and Sewer Authority of Meriwether County. The owner is responsible for any tap fees for connection to the water and sewer. The owner must provide at their cost access to the property with driveways from SR 54, meeting all GDOT recommendations and requirements. Use of the property shall be limited to those businesses meeting the definition of the list of light industrial as described in the ordinance book, Appendix A, Article 3, Section 3.1. Owners shall comply with all requirements of Appendix A, Article 14, and Commercial Industrial Park District unless other zoning conditions supersede the requirements under this article. Applicant agrees to work with Meriwether County Fire Department to address all fire protection concerns, including but not limited to the ingress, egress for fire apparatus, fire hydrant locations, and accessibility with water supply and fire sprinkler systems. Applicant shall also work with Meriwether County Fire Department on emergency plans, fire escape, presence of hazmat materials, and other concerns that may be expressed by the Meriwether County Fire Department, Meriwether County Sheriff's Department, and Meriwether County EMS.
Senate number 72, I think skips out.
Oh, I'm sorry. All stormwater runoff from the project shall meet all federal, state, and local rules and requirements.
Mr. Chairman, one other thing I would recommend we add is maybe provide the fact that they've got to do industrial pre-treatment on any sewer, because we have issues with industries on that, and we need to start requiring industries unless EPD exempts them for doing the industrial pre-treatment. I think our Chairman Water should agree with that. So, what these conditions try to do is to mitigate some of the concerns that we heard from the citizens in the planning commission meeting. So we went back and tried to add things that address some of their concerns: lighting, traffic, who's going to pay for this, who's going to pay for that. So that's the purpose of these extra conditions that we recommend that the board consider.
The planning board did a deferral. They did not make a decision, so they deferred it to the Board of Commissioners. Staff recommendation would be to recommend an approval according to the standards set forth by the ordinances on Articles 14 and on the screens for the buffers. And they also agreed to do what they have to do when it comes to the GDOT, when it comes to the traffic studies. But they can't do any of that until a zoning is approved. But Mr. Valentine is here to speak.
What kind of buffers are you figuring or been talking about?
They have to meet all the requirements under, I think it's in your packet. I have to pull it back up.
Section 8.3.
Yes, it should be in your packet, the complete buffer section.
Page 23.
I didn't need her to tell me.
I'm trying to get to it.
That's fine. I'd had the same problem you're having because it's not marked out, so I figured. I just want to know what we're talking about.
Okay, it says buffer requirements. The required buffer shall consist of either a non-vegetated 500-foot setback or 200-foot vegetated setback from any adjoining property lines. A 200-foot minimum setback shall consist of 75 foot of vegetated buffer area. measured along the entire portion of the property line abutting said use, and such buffer shall extend an additional 125 feet in each direction along the common property line. The 75-foot vegetated buffer shall meet the planted requirements contained in section 8.3. In 8.3 is the screening standards, and it talks about the screening standards, method of shielding of eschewing from use from any other by a fence, wall, berm, or planted vegetation. It talks about the plants shall consist of either trees or shrubs. Walls shall be of masonry construction and a minimum height of 8 foot. And fence shall be minimum height of 8 foot and constructed of standard fencing materials and methods are chain link with woven inserts that provide 90% visible blockage. The berms shall have a minimum height of 8 foot also.
Okay. All right, and I don't know if this can be a condition or not, in whatever direction we go in. I don't know how high of a berm, but for me, I feel like when you look at the area map and see the homes and stuff that's been built in the area, if there's any way to build some kind of, I know you said a wall, but some kind of a berm that goes down through there, that large tract of land, you ought to have plenty of dirt, but everything we can do if we go forward, what happens, I think that needs to be in there too.
Yeah, and this area is also an area that is on the comp map. I have a copy of it for everybody. It shows that this is the perpetual industrial area for future use.
Okay. Mr. Valentine.
Good evening. So my name is William Valentine, Vice President of Development for Hillwood. First, I want to introduce Hillwood just a little bit because I think there's been some confusion about who we are and who we aren't. We are not at all related to the previous applicant that was on this property. I acknowledge our site plan looks substantially similar to what they offered. The site plan is a conceptual tool at this point in the process to develop what the maximum developable area is for the property. How much could we build and how do we plan around that? If we decide to build less, that obviously happens later and we develop the plans more fully. Hillwood is based in Dallas, Texas and owned by Ross Perot Jr. So we are not a Russian firm at all, which is one of the things I had heard. And I'd like to, I guess, address what exactly we're asking for. We are asking for a rezoning to industrial. The intent is for a light industrial project, which would be warehousing, distribution, or light assembly. That's representative of the buildings that we've drawn on our conceptual site plan shows what those buildings could look like. The reason we need it to be rezoned is so that we can market this property appropriately and actually be able to bring a tenant here so that we could build something for them. You cannot compete for state of Georgia economic development projects if you are not zoned. It's the first question on the list. Once it's zoned, we can go through our marketing process, which includes working with brokers, working with the state of Georgia economic development, and then also using our own existing tenant relationships across the country to bring in tenants. As a matter of fact, I'll share a brief story. We recently leased a little over 200,000 feet in South Carolina based solely on a relationship that Hillwood had in another market. And so that's what we hope to do here with this property. So beyond that, I wanted to say that we did work with staff to try and come up with conditions that would help create a little bit more structure around what we've shown on the plan and make clear what it is we're not doing. We're not doing heavy industrial. We're not doing any chemical or other very nuisance heavy uses. I think the lighting and potential, the setbacks, the buffers, the lighting cutoffs, all that, that's very standard. We do that a lot and it's successful in minimizing the impact to surrounding neighbors. I don't have a lot more time that I want to spend on this. I'd rather save my time for answering questions because there may be many. Does the board have any questions now?
Anybody from the board got any questions?
Not at this time.
Not at this time.
All right. Then
All right. Thank you, Ms. Valentine. We'll go right into asking for those who are in favor. And let's see, we got here on the list here. First on the list is Mr. Mike Watson. State your name and address.
Commissioners, my name is Mike Watson. I live on Highway 54 on Lone Oak Road across from this property that's in consideration for rezoning. I think that it is a good idea that Hill would come in and build their warehouse for a tenant. Two things, obviously it's going to bring in some tax revenue into the county so that the individual county people who live here don't have their taxes raised as it continues, things get higher and higher. Two, from a purely convenience standpoint, Meriwether County's only access to the interstate system is the northwest corner there on Highway 54 at exit 28. And it's easy on and off. The area has already been rezoned and has light industrial manufacturing up there, as well as the landfill and all of that goes on. So it's a logical place to rezone quite a few of the properties up there. The third thing obviously would be if it's built, people will come, and that will provide jobs for the people here in the county. So I ask you to consider voting in approval of this rezoning.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. There's three names above here that's not marked favor or opposed. Do I need to have that?
You can call out and ask it which side they're on, because you want to take all the in favors first, so for timekeeping purposes, and then you want to take
Scott Emerson, are you favor or opposed?
Sir, I'm a council member in the city of Lone Oak, so I'd rather say neither at this point. And based on the lack of information, I'm going to stay right there in the middle and say we don't have enough information, just like we had in the last meeting, to actually make an educated decision on that. So until we speak and bring out the other topics and what we'd like to know before you can make an educated decision, I'll stay in the middle.
Okay, well, we'll let you speak at another time. Thank you. Same with Sonia Emerson, same?
No, we definitely want to speak, but let the people speak before that are for it. And
This is-
we'll go in the middle.
I think the way I would treat it, Mr. Chair, is that since they're not strictly in favor, you would treat them as part of the time commitment for not in favor at this point in time.
All right. And Ms. Nelson, you didn't mark favor or against?
I'm sorry.
No, it's no apologies. I just need to know, so I call all the ones in favor first, and then I go to those who oppose.
I'm not either for or against it. I just want to speak to some issues that I feel like need to be addressed before a decision is made before the board.
So I'd put those three at the back end of the opposition list.
Okay. Well, then we'll move right on to Mr. Brad. I can't read that.
It's Worthy.
Okay.
Hey, Brad Worthy, I own property also sort of across the road there. I own property on Lone Oak Road and also one that addresses as Sewell Road, even though they're not actually road front property. I'm like Mr. Watson. I feel like the direct access to I-85 would be an ideal place to start the development. I ride up and down the roads every day, and Cayuga County's booming and Troup County's beginning to really build up. Seems like Meriwether's kind of getting left behind in the development area. Taxes obviously would generate a whole lot more taxes for the county doing this, jobs. And I think it'd just be a good place to get development started in the county. And I would ask that you vote in favor.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Karen Watson.
Good evening, Commissioners, Chairman King. I'm Karen Watson. I am a 27-year resident of Meriwether County, and I live on Lone Oak Road. And this is not new news here. The industrial commercial growth in this northwest corridor is already underway, has been underway. So I'm here tonight to ask that you vote in approval for the rezoning of this said property, 6221 Lone Oak Road. For that reason, it looks as though the KB Autosist is about near completion. It's very close to the property that's in proposal here. Very close. So it just seems like the right thing to do. So I'm asking for your vote for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last one that's here for favor, Mr. Kenneth Murphy.
Kenneth Murphy, Luthersville. I want to speak with two hats. One is the chairman of Meriwether County Water Authority and as a citizen. First, I want to represent the Water Authority. Hillwood contacted me when they first got a contract on the land, want to know if we could supply them water and sewage. We told them we could, but it would be at the developer's expense. This is one of the first projects out there that the county is not going to subsidize any of the water or sewage to this. So this is a very positive thing for the Water Authority because it's not going to cost us or the taxpayers any money. All this will be at the expense of Hillwood. Also, Mr. Theron mentioned previously we're going to require water treatment and a recovery fee for future growth of expanding the plant or whatever as we use up the capacity. Now I want to speak as a citizen of Meriwether County. Meriwether County is a very poor county. Y'all can understand that. We have no tax dollars. Everybody wants to complain about the roads. And this is a good opportunity for us to have a pretty good tax income from taxing this property. This is not an IDA project, so therefore there won't be any subsidies on tax release and so forth. All this will be money that will be directly come to Meriwether County that we strongly need. And I want to urge y'all to vote for it tonight. Thank y'all.
Thank you. All right. So going to, well, I got one more here that's not marked favor or against, a Russell.
Yes, sir.
Are you in favor or against it?
I'm neither one, because there's no.
Okay, I'll put you at the bottom of the list with the rest of them there. Thank you. All right, so we'll go right into those who are opposed. And the first one is Lisa Davis.
Hello, my name is Lisa Davis. I'm a 52-year resident of Lone Oak. So I grew up here. My daddy was the mayor. He was a city councilman. And we have grown up where it was peaceful and quiet. We knew everybody. We weren't afraid to be out after dark. We could get out on the sidewalks and play and ride. We didn't have to worry about who was around us. We could cross the street. We could go down to the crossroads. And you can see now you can't even cross the road half the time. There's strangers around the crossroads we don't know. There's people out here we don't know. And then a few miles down the road, there's an industrial park, already joined by a landfill, now another plant. These people are coming in here and wanting to bring in something that's going to bring more traffic, noise, disturbances, vagrants, and crime. And by the way, I find it terribly suspicious that these people continue to say they don't know who or what they're policing to. I don't see that as a good sign. It also means our property values will go down. Now, some people that lived close to it a couple of years ago, they were against all this, now they're for it, and all I can guess is they're going to sell and make a bunch of money, but that's no skin off their backs. But this is our home. The rest of us are just stuck with all the negative fallout this is going to bring upon us. If this is already a done deal and it's been devised under the table and behind our backs, and if you don't live in Lone Oak, it doesn't affect your property values or way of life, and I guess it doesn't matter to you. So I would ask that this proposal to zone our area industrial be denied. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Cody Forbes.
Is it okay if my family stands close by? Do you guys mind? I'll be
Yes,
the only
ma'am.
one talking, but okay, y'all come on, please. They're not gonna like that. First of all, I have to say this is more important than anything my 3 minutes takes to say. I believe that we serve a sovereign God. I believe that the outcome of this will be his good and perfect plan. But I also believe he gives us wisdom and brains to make good decisions. And so with that being said, I just plead with, first of all, I'm sorry, I live in Lone Oak. 6899 Forest Road is my address. And I'm also on council in Lone Oak. But on behalf of our citizens and my family, I ask you to deny the request for this property becoming industrial. Yes, we've known for a long time that the interstate area was industrial. This property, though, to my knowledge, has not until very recently been considered for industrial use. I would ask you that instead I think that Lone Oak is the perfect place for some growth, but let's do nice, appealing let's have curb appeal in what we bring there. This is not going to bring that. I think that the area has potential for some commercial property for sure. And I think that that can be something that brings great revenue to the county without having to bring these warehouses. My kids like to play in the creek at the back of our property, and this is just a hop, skip, and jump from where this warehouse will be, catching crawfish and stuff. So I just ask, I have a great vision for the area. I know that you guys are probably under a lot of pressure to, I know sitting in your seat that it's very hard to please everybody, and that's not your job, of course, but I just ask that you, with integrity, consider the people who live in this area and what this will do for us, and maybe re-envision the area for residential growth, commercial growth, but not this, not in our backyards, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Warren Gray.
My name is Warren Gray. I'm 6885 Forest Road. I have property across the road from Cody Forbes also. But this is my thing. At some point in time, and I know y'all did the future land use plan and adopted all that. But there's got to be a stopping point somewhere, okay? Is this the property that's the stopping point? The Development Authority is already looking at stuff on the other side of Lone Oak, beside Allen Lee Memorial Church. So, I mean, that's just gonna ruin everything for us. It's really gonna ruin it. It's a little small town. We love each other. We all know each other. If this just keeps going, it's gonna be, hopefully, it's not gonna be, but there'll be 4 lanes through there and everything else. And I know the land use plan, y'all hired somebody to come up with all this fancy stuff that's supposed to make the county better and make more money, tax money, and improve all that, but there's more to it than money, man. There is. Who drive? I'm familiar with all this stuff because I do this type stuff, land use plans. They do the best they can, but they don't get out and fill the community, okay? And the other thing is however y'all vote tonight, I hope you vote no, but there's a lot involved in this, and there's a lot for Meriwether County to take on this project, okay? We may need some outside resources to make sure that the infrastructure, the roads, are they gonna go out there and check how high the berm is? Is that gonna be a requirement? We're gonna go out there and check and make sure that 75-foot vegetative buffer's there? Are we gonna make sure that building's 500 feet if they don't leave a vegetative buffer? It's a lot. And I think this is like, I don't wanna say it's new grounds, but it's kind of new grounds for Meriwether County, okay? So if we do vote yes, which I don't want you to, but if we do vote yes, let's make sure that they got to do everything that is supposed to be done. Absolutely done. Don't make it easy. Don't give them something. Okay? That's it. Thank you for my time.
Thank you. Mallory Lynch.
I don't have too terribly much to say, but I couldn't, with my conscience, not come up here and stand up and say something. My name's Mallory Lynch. I live at 68784 Forest Road. I've been a resident of Meriwether County for 4 years, but it has a lot more to that than just me being a resident there. My family has grown up there. I've grown up there, going to visit my grandmother, my great aunts, everything. So it means a lot to me sentimentally. And I know that that's not really what we're talking about here, but I still have to come up here and voice that. I also was a teacher of 12 years. I have experience in Fayette County, Coweta County, and Meriwether County. And I've always defended Meriwether County for its unfortunate bad reputation within the school system in all aspects. I know that when I was an employee of Meriwether Schools, any professional learning I went to or training that I had, I know that they're trying to move in the right direction. I know this county's trying to move in the right direction. But as someone who's raising her young family there and has family there, I don't want to see it go full on industrial towards our town. I know that it's going to be like that going towards the interstate and everything, but this is very much so closer. I know that they said that the other place that's been developed for the cars is close by, but this is so much more closer right to the heart of our town. And that's where I am disheartened and worried, because I know a lot of people who are my age or younger in their 20s and 30s that are wanting to move to Meriwether County because they can't afford to live in neighboring counties. There's a lot of new houses being built that are beautiful in our area in Lone Oak. And I don't think that people are going to want to continue to move here if something like that is so close to the heart of our town, our beautiful, sweet town. So that's just where I needed to come and share with you guys. There's all those other technicalities and worries, but from a sentimental and personal place, I really needed to come and just let my voice be heard, because this is my future. And I don't want to move. I'm not going to get bought out. I'm not going to sell out and move somewhere else. I want to stay here. I love Meriwether County. I love Lone Oak. And so I just really ask that y'all consider to please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Jordan Lynch.
Hi, I'm Jordan Lynch. I live at 68784 Forest Road. I'm opposed of it for several different reasons. One, I've heard a lot of the stipulations about the development itself. I've lived in Lone Oak for 4 years. I've lived in the Moreland-Luthersville area my entire life. What the big thing is I'm seeing too is, do we have a traffic impact analysis? Anytime we have traffic, summertime, holidays, interstate breakdowns, we're just overrun with traffic. We're opening a warehouse on 54 in between Hogansville and Luthersville. You think about the traffic coming down 27 through Luthersville. If the interstate's shut down, you can't make a right-hand turn to get on 54 right there. That's going to be a huge problem. Not only that, like Mr. Gray said, there's got to be a buffer as far as residential to industrial. Hillwood's come to Meriwether County because right now Coweta County has opposed their first development, which was at the corner of 16 and Gordon Road, due to its encroachment into residential area. Hillwood currently has a second proposed site, which is right now being opposed by the county due to its encroachment into residential site. Meriwether's got to grow, and development at the interstate is the only way it's going to grow, but we have to find a way to where it's not coming into a residential area. And right now, that's what it's doing. We have a lot of new construction growth, a lot of new families moving into the Lone Oak area. Tenny Nelson Road is blowed up with new construction housing. So has Gold Mine Road and several others. We've got a lot of residential development coming in, a lot more families coming in. So if we're moving industrial into those areas, all we're going to do is run all those new families out. We're going to kill the residential growth in that area, and then it's just going to become an industrial wasteland. I say an industrial wasteland because I work in industry every day. I do industrial maintenance. I work on forklifts, robotics, automation. My company also offers interlogistics and logistics solutions. My team put together today a warehouse the size of what they're asking for as a spec warehouse is going to see anywhere from 400 to 800 trucks a day. So a traffic analysis is going to be something that needs to come up, because right now, I don't know, and a lot of us spoke about it on the last meeting, you can't get off the interstate at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon in Hogansville. It's an absolute disaster. Then you have spring break traffic. So you think about the spring break traffic and then adding 400 to 800 trucks a day into that. The summertime traffic, it's just going to be an absolute nightmare. And that's a nightmare between Hogansville, Lone Oak, and Luthersville. So, thanks.
Thank you, Joe. All right, we're gonna go back to the other four. I don't know if you know where you stand now or not from what you heard, but
You ready?
I guess so.
Are we keeping a minute?
What's that?
Okay, I just want to make sure we're keeping up 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm Scott Amerson.
30. No, 30.
Live in Lone Oak at the Lone Oak Tree Farm, councilman in Lone Oak. So therefore, there's the other reason I don't think it's fair that I give an opinion, because I'm not here to convince anybody of their opinion. I'm just going to give you my thoughts. I'm not a public speaker, not a politician. I'm just going to tell you what I think, give you some ideas of things that we've talked about or been approached by people, and ask these questions and let you guys think about it as you're making these plans and making these decisions. First of all, Mr. Valentine came up and spoke, and he said that this plan was not related to the company that did this before, although it's exactly the same plan. And then he said it's a conceptual plan. So basically that's telling you that that plan, whatever that piece of paper says in those two warehouses, doesn't mean anything. Could be completely different than every bit of that, because that's just a conceptual plan. So it may not look anything like that. So we don't know how big it's going to be. The other thing, and unless they've cleaned it up, the plans that we saw last week in the meeting showed 1,000 trucks a day, 500 parking spaces, all this stuff going in and out of there. So just as other people have brought up, any kind of studies by the DOT on these roads? Can they do any? Can we even handle all that? The roads are falling apart right in Lone Oak now at the DOT. They're not fixing them. We've called the DOT. They've not done anything to them. So the road, we've got a culvert that's caving in, and we've called the DOT. I don't know how many times. They've done nothing. Absolutely nothing. So that's one thing. The EPA, have they been contacted about it? What is going to, if we don't know what's being produced there or manufactured there or put together there, or how many trucks are in and out of there, you can't really do an EPA study to say how it's going to affect the environment. If there's one truck a day in there, it doesn't really affect the environment. But if there's 1,000, there's a lot more pollution. So it makes a little bit of a difference. But without knowing all this information, you can't make that decision. There's no way to possibly make that decision. As Jordan just brought up, this has been run out of Coweta County in 2 different sites already. It's also been run out of Commerce already. And they said, no, we didn't want it. County commissioners there said they didn't want it either. And it was based on the same thing. They didn't give them enough information, so they said, no way, unless you can tell us what it is, we're not going to do it. A couple other things. All the talk is for Lone Oak, and or for Meriwether County, and I'll applaud Meriwether County for seeking to grow. It needs to. And this is a good place for it to grow, just not in Lone Oak. That corner of the county, yes, there is there is an industrial area. Let's fix the problems we have there and make it grow there. North and south along the highway and make it grow there where it was originally planned to grow anyway. Just a thought. If it's not feasible to fix that, if this company's willing to come in and pay for the infrastructure to make all this happen and pay for that to do it so Meriwether County doesn't come out of pocket, they'd be just as willing to pay for it along the highway, wouldn't they? What's the difference? If they got to put in pipes and they got to put in sewer and all that, what's the difference? Also, for the city of Lone Oak, we got to speak up for that. Lone Oak is affected by every bit of this. We've been there for 8 years. We watched it all change. We watched it all start to grow, and it's all coming this way. There's a lot, for a county that doesn't have any money and not many residents, they sure buy up a lot of land along that road. Where are they getting the money? Where's it coming from? All that land along the road for the IDA land, I get it. We need it to grow. But since we are affected by it as citizens of Lone Oak, we probably should be included in a little bit of the planning of it and maybe even some of the decision making of it. It's not fair for us to have this in our backyard if we don't even know what the hell it's going to be or what the plan is. We just learned this like today, 400 acres right out my front door. It's some plan right next to Allen Lee Memorial Church, 400 acres, and it's in the minutes that they're being looked at now for a new industrial site. We didn't know that. So we're not even informed. Well, it's in the minutes. We got the minutes from it. So we're not even informed of these things, which is really not fair. Meriwether County wants us to work and be in good cooperation and let's hoorah and shake hands and everybody works great together. And we want to do that, and we've been trying to do that. But to do that, we need to know what's going on too. We need to be informed of what's happening.
taxes, impact fees, it's not just gonna affect the county. The impact fees that are gonna be imposed on these businesses, Lone Oak needs to be included in that as well. We're the ones gonna be affected by it. Our citizens are gonna be affected by it. All the people that just came in and bought new houses and land and built these houses, they thought they were gonna live there in the country and be in the boonies and live there on their little farm. Now they got a warehouse next door. There's a little impact. So, but they're not getting any benefit of the impact fees, even though it borders right up to Lone Oak. Some of it, even the future plans looking at inside of Lone Oak. Road maintenance and upgrades, lighting, those things, you know, that's a plan, but if these companies can come in and they can build the infrastructure to not make Meriwether County pay for it, why would it not be just as feasible, since we have a water system, why wouldn't it be just as feasible for that company to come in and build our water system up to where Lone Oak supports their water system, tie us into the sewer system to Coweta County or whoever's going to do it the same way Meriwether County would do it, and we all get a benefit from it instead of just the county. It's not fair to the city there again. We're losing the tax money. It almost looks like it's a plan to run Lone Oak out of business as a city altogether and just take it over as an industrial park. And it's not, I mean, there's a lot of history there, not right. I wouldn't even think on the historical side of it that we would want to get rid of the Lone Oak name or the Lone Oak city.
Okay.
A couple more things.
Y'all about to be out of time, so that's
All
right.
right, one more thing. For the code enforcement side, you were talking about building bigger berms. I can speak for that right now. We live right next to the RV park, or the RV maintenance facility. Get along with the guy just fine, great guy, no worries. However, code enforcement, when we bought this, he wasn't there. They said when he moved in, there were gonna be an 8-foot vegetation barrier. He had to plant 4-foot trees, and they had to be at 8 foot by the end of 2 years. It's about 8 years later. There ain't a tree there. So I can answer that for the code enforcement side, it ain't happening. So just thinking those out, just kind of keeping that in mind. These maps change all the time and we're not made aware of it. So in fairness, we need to be part of that planning too. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Ms. Sonia, you got something you want to add or just?
It is. Hi, I'm Sonia. I'm the mayor, Sonia Amerson. I'm the mayor of the city. Again, I'm not here to approve or disapprove. Many questions, a lot of phone calls. People wanted to know about this rezoning and the plans of the county. We feel like we are not included. I am a part-time employee, and I do a lot of my time in the city stuff, but there's got to be a way for the county to include the cities if we are affected by it. Not just Lone Oak, any city, any projects. We know the growth is coming. We need it. We want a lot of stuff in Meriwether County, but the way we see it, the way whoever is coming up with these plans or looking at it, I mean, it's awful just to look at your minutes from June and to see that right across my house. I mean, we know it's coming, but we want to know. Include us, whoever, whatever project it is, you need to include the cities into this decision making. So that's pretty much what I have to say.
Thank you. And the last one on the fence, Ms. Nelson.
I think there was one gentleman in the back.
Hi, my name is Debbie Nelson,
Yeah, Russell, that's right. Go ahead,
and
Debbie.
I live at 2125 Tenny Nelson Road. I have a couple of things. I want to just reiterate that I think a traffic study is absolutely needed so that we don't find ourselves in a situation where we've been a year and a half, 2 years with that corridor trying to get in a turning lane for DB Industries because we didn't have the right people involved. I'm concerned about the people in the county. I'm not talking about citizens, I'm talking about employees. Do employees have the experience? Are they trained? Are they ready to be able to go out, do inspections, do the fire reports? Do we have that staff to do it? I know we're understaffed at this point. I want to talk about quality of life. What quality do we have? We've all ran here in high hopes of not being in traffic and avoiding the areas that we previously lived. We have a problem with transfer trailer trucks going down Forest Road. I know there's a sign there, but we don't have enough police to go out and make sure that they're not going down through there. We see it every day in our community, and it affects us to the point that it's even backed up so far down Forest Road that it backs up from the Coweta stop sign all the way into Meriwether County. And last, I want to talk about revenue. I really want good industry here. I feel like that we have a lot of great things going on. Our board, I see a lot of good things that you guys are doing, and I want to commend you for that. But what is really the tax revenue? I mean, how much is it going to be? And these people coming in, we have no place for them to eat, which is tax revenue, no place to house them, which is tax revenue, no gas stations, which is tax revenue, and most counties planned that whomever comes in is going to bring in additional revenue instead of just taxes. Last year, we had $990-something thousand in industrial tax revenues. We wiped that out with the cost for what we had to put in that driveway and water and at D&B. And the money that it came, where does that money come from? It comes from us, the citizens. And there's a lack of trust, not in you guys, but in what we don't see and we don't hear. And there should have been included in that Lone Oak. They should have had a voice in it, a say in it, a plan in it. So with that said, I honestly think we should do what is in the best interest of all of the public. And if the tax revenue is going to be $200,000 and you divide that by 20,000 people, it ain't enough to really make a difference in what's going there, because there's no other revenue. But look at the people that are impacted. And the people of Lone Oak have something that this county should be proud of. And that is a neighborhood, that is friendship, that is a church, that is people who believe in God and want to do the right thing. And I just ask you that if you would, to consider those facts in lieu of making a decision. And I thank you so much for hearing me out.
Thank you. And we do have one more. Mr. Russell?
Yes, sir. I live at 5410 Lone Oak Road, and I am a builder also. And we go in all the time and fix houses that trucks vibrate the roads, crack your house, and you got somebody that spends $500,000 of their hard-earned money, that's worked all their life, that ain't rich. And these guys come in. Jason's a friend of mine. I buy hay from him. I ain't here against him. But what I can tell you, when they want to buy the property on the other side of the road, they say they're going to keep it towards the interstate. When I heard that today, that's why I came down here, because now you're bringing on the other side. I just built Mr. Lewis a house. He spent almost $1 million. They're at his back door. He's going to see the truck. The buffer's not going to do nothing. What are they going to do, furnish him earplugs? Give him sunglasses at night? I don't care what he do. Now, I'm not here trying to knock on them, but cracks in your houses. Them trucks come down them roads, they're going to crack our houses. We're going to have maintenance people in there. What I say is, if they got enough money to pay somebody $12 million for 187 acres, they got enough money to buy all of us out and relocate us somewhere else, and we can name Lone Oak. That's what I say. But it's about money. That's what it's all about. Now, if they got enough money, they're going to persuade people. That's the way it goes. We don't have that kind of money. I'm a builder. You win some, you lose some. You build 10 houses, you lose on 5, you make it. These folks here worked all their life. What I'm trying to propose here is, what's the impact on us? And that's why I said I'm undecided, because my property right now, before that's built, I can sell my house for $1 million. When that joker's built, on anybody's property, Brad's property, he butts right next to me. I mean, I got an easement going into him. When that thing's built, my property goes down and I can't get $500, I can't even get what I paid for the place. That's right, yeah. So if they're gonna do this, they need to dig on down in their pockets and they need to come to these people and say, here, let me give you $2 million. You relocate, we'll go over here and build another Lone Oak. So if they wanna do that, I'm with it. But less than that, I'm against it, because they're wanting to buy. It's not gonna stop at Jason's. It's going on down, because they already planted other places. And when they get their foot in the door, that's just like the marijuana in the state. They put 3% in it and put it in the stores, now you can buy joints over the counter. Well, that just got their foot in the door. They finna start manufacturing so they can make money on it. Just trying to get the foot in the door. I just ask y'all to think about it real heavy on the people's places there. Just like you're talking about a buffer, if they're gonna do that, they need to make sure our land value don't go down. There ain't no way you guys can do that. That's up to the inflation when that building gets put there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, that was the last one. Well, he made it obvious he's opposed. I got that X in here now. So that wraps all those up. And now we'll hear back from Mr. Valentine.
Well, first, I'd like to thank everyone who came out. This is your community, and I understand there's concerns about what we're planning to build and develop. And I just want to say that Hillwood certainly strives to be consistent with the communities, to meet what they want. And so when conditions are offered on what they want to see and what they don't want to see, we work with them. I tried working very hard with Coweta County. I was going to build a new road. I was going to do this. They wrote a speech. They didn't want to hear any of it. They just wanted to shoot it down. They didn't want industrial. They didn't want the tax base. I take it that Meriwether County feels a little different, and that's why they have the comp plan that they do. It's why there's industrial zone to the south of us, across the street from us and whatnot. It's part of what's brought me here, that it seemed that Meriwether wanted to see this kind of development. There were a handful of questions. I'd like to address as many of those as I can. Infrastructure, yes, we're paying for the infrastructure. We're paying to run about a half mile of sewer to connect into the rest of the current Meriwether County sewer system. And I think the water extension is not very far away. Conditions, there were conditions that were discussed and have been agreed upon. The staff proposed them and we agreed to them. This wasn't a deal that was cut. It was, this is what you need if you're going to build this here. And we said, that's fine. We can live with that. And we will live up to that. There's concerns, I guess, that this is a conceptual plan. If it's needed that we would say that this is the maximum size of a project we would build, I would agree to that right now. So if we need to add that to get to a yes, I'd offer that. And others say the conceptual plan, well, I keep hearing there's not enough information. There's actually a lot of information on that plan and in your own zoning codes on what's to be allowed in industrial, and we've abided by that. And beyond that, you're right, we don't have a tenant now to say any more of what's going to happen. But as I said at the planning board, a lot of these industrial buildings, you can't tell who's inside. You can't tell what they're doing. That's their business. It looks very similar on the outside. Traffic impact analysis. That is a condition of the zoning, is that we need to complete a full DRI, and we are required to abide by all of the conditions developed by Georgia DOT and the Regional Commission. That will incur cost. We're familiar with that and we're prepared to do that. I think it's worth noting that the traffic impact may not be insignificant, but it's also the least significant it could be considering how close this site is to I-85. I don't know what other site there is that you could build large industrial on 54 and not have it impact. It's going to impact traffic, but it couldn't be much closer to 85. So you're going to be amongst those trucks for as short a period as possible. I'm not sure what other information I would need to add to clarify what it is we're asking for. We're asking for a land use consistent with the comp plan, consistent with that's zoned around us. Hillwood prides itself on developing the infrastructure that drives our economy. Industrial buildings, we've built 220 million square feet of industrial buildings across this nation, including 15 million here in the Southeast. That's a lot of businesses and a lot of employees that get put to work. It's also a lot of tax dollars that come into those jurisdictions. And it's worth noting that for that, the industrial asks nothing of the schools. It asks very little of the police, of the fire department, and generally on a dollar for dollar basis, very little of the water and sewer systems. We do believe this project upon completion would employ somewhere around 800 to 1,200 people if fully built out. And I would say that if this property cannot be rezoned, considering it's consistent with the comp plan, considering the surrounding other industrial uses, then I'm not sure what property Meriwether County wants to be zoned for outside development and outside investment. I ask for a yes, but if there's still a question or there's not enough information, there's too much, then I would ask for a continuance.
Mr. Valentine, I actually have a question. You said the company has built 220 million square feet worth of these warehouses across the U.S.
That's correct. Across 20 years.
Okay. So how many states are those actually in?
20.
Okay. And what types of industry have you seen mostly go into these areas?
We prefer...
Because you have to market to a certain area, I know that, and you probably get those individuals, you market to those individuals that are willing to move and come in. So what are those types of businesses?
We prefer distribution and light assembly. That's distribution, warehouse, and light assembly. Heavy manufacturing is more difficult for us. Often it's more costly. They often don't pay rents, and there's lots of economic reasons why that's less attractive to us. It doesn't mean we won't do it. We are doing a medium intensity manufacturer right now in South Carolina. So sometimes it's about the user, a good credit user who comes in with jobs and is ready to do a deal.
Any unsuccessful stories in any of these? That you've had any unsuccessful stories where there have been issues after you have sold this in communities? Do you know of any history that has turned from what you thought it may be? I know that's kind of a weird question, but you also have to look at the good versus has there been any bad?
Most of the areas that we develop industrial in are welcoming of industrial, and so it's generally, someone said that there will be others. Yeah, there are currently some industrial there. We're looking to add to that. I would imagine some other industrial will want to co-locate because it wants to be together. I can't think of any unsuccessful projects relative to the community.
The 5-minute rebuttal time is up on that. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to, this was the extra conditions that we had mentioned earlier, 9 of them. I didn't know whether Mr. Valentine had seen those or not.
Yes.
And if you have or have not, I'd just like to see whether or not he would be willing to accept those conditions.
I've reviewed them, my civil engineers reviewed them, and we're prepared to accept those conditions.
That's what I was going to ask. He said he would accept the conditions, but what is the revised conditions?
I just want to make sure it was these.
Okay, that cleared one question. Okay.
What about the citizens seeing those conditions?
They were read out at the beginning of this hearing. We can prove, yeah.
One of those conditions was working with Meriwether County. What about working with the city of Lonoke?
That's irrelevant right now.
Mr. Chair, I believe you said the 5-minute rebuttal time was up for the pro. There is a 5-minute rebuttal time allowed for opposition as well, so.
So if y'all have someone that would like to speak to come up and take your 5-minute rebuttal to what Mr. Valentine said, if there's somebody that would like to do that on that behalf, we'll do that at this time. Okay.
My name is Charlene Arrington. I live at 5410 Lone Oak Road. We moved from Coweta County. Lived there all my life. I work for the school system in Coweta County. I watched it grow. I was there when Shoney's was the main restaurant. Now it's the crime, and it's unbearable. We moved to Lone Oak Road 4 years ago, and how we found out about this today was from another person. I'm in the city of Lone Oak. We had no idea that our neighbor was about to put his property under commercial, or wanting to put his property under commercial. I have no problem with that, but us as citizens of Lone Oak, we should know when something like that's happened. What happened to family value? All I'm hearing tonight is about money. It ain't always about money. Where is, and that's why these families are breaking up and doing, people's taking it from us. We can't sit back and let that happen. We moved here because we love the little city of Lone Oak, but we don't know anything I mean, next thing, if we didn't hear about that today, next thing we know, we can have an industrial building up next to our house. We need to know those things. I mean, we're in the dark. I mean, like I said, where's the family of value? I mean, where's the value of family at now? That's what happened. That's what's wrong with this world today. We don't have we don't have family value, and we're letting people come in with money and take that from us, and that's the problem. You know, so we need to stand for our country. We need to stand firm and stand for what we believe in. You know, and it's being taken from us, and we didn't even know that it was going to happen until we were at a closing today at a house that we flipped, and the real estate agent said, "Well, we heard this and that," and I'm like, "This is property, but they don't live there. My family is there." It's easy for someone to say, "Yeah, I'll sell it for $2 million." They're not there with their family. My family is there. My family is way more important to me than money. That's right. I can tell you that. So I feel like, as a citizen of Meriwether and used to be a citizen of Cowee, we need to know these things. Would y'all like someone to build up next to y'all like that when you got your family there? Just because it's $2 million, I don't care about your $2 million. Like, you can't take it with you when you go.
That's right.
The value, my family means more to me than money. So no, I don't agree. I'm opposed. I don't agree with someone coming in, not less like my husband said, if you're gonna buy us all out, don't come in here and just nitpick and then build up I have a $650,000 house I built that we spent our whole life savings on that's gonna be taken from us if they build that building. So just think about that. Where's your family value at? Where's the value of family? Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
John, is there any more time left? Mr. Chair, there's another 2 minutes left if,
Got 2 minutes
there's any other
left.
rebuttal.
And I just think, with all these projects, it has to, the city or the areas where these projects are going to be, the people that live in that area, we need to know. Like he said, I just found out about that thing right across from my house yesterday, from reading those minutes from June. That is awful. That is just, I mean, you guys, I don't know where you guys live, but I'm sure you guys will be more careful if it touches the city limits. One of these projects is less than a mile, and the other one is inside of the city. So, come on, think about it. It's just, I mean, again, we all want to live better. I moved from Atlanta to Lone Oak. So, and I don't know, now they're not gonna have to find another place to go farther away. I don't know, think about it, please.
May I say one last thing?
There's 50 seconds according
There's
to John.
50 seconds.
50 seconds, all right, so.
Come up to the podium.
Okay, sorry.
Just for our record, state the name and everything, so we
Yes,
just have
Cody
it.
Forbes, Lone Oak. I've been there for 14 years. In terms of, this is the way I speak because I'm a mother and a former teacher. If you've ever coached or have children, it's not one size fits all for every child. It's not one size fits all for every county. So I want you to consider what Lone Oak has to offer. I want you to consider what Meriwether County has to offer. We have so much to offer, and it doesn't have to be industrial. We can rethink and reimagine this, and I know some of you had your minds made up. Please just reconsider that there is a better way, and that this will be an extreme eyesore. I consider us the gateway to Meriwether County. Sorry, Luthersville. This will be an extreme eyesore where we have so much charm.
Time's up.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, that'll end the time for rebuttal and for
I got
Valentine's
a
time.
question before we come out of the public hearing for the staff. Did we not post notices from the planning and zoning meeting with the appropriate time through the appropriate legal organs?
Yep.
And was there not this sign
The
up
sign
weeks
was, the
ahead
sign
of
was
time?
posted on site, it was advertised in the newspaper, and all adjoining property owners and property owners across the street did receive letters.
Right, okay.
Mr. Chair, before you take any action on closing hearing, et cetera.
Hold on, I can't.
Before you take any action on closing hearing, et cetera, there is in your ordinance that if there's any written comment, petition received by the county, it needs to be added to the record. I don't know if the county received anything along those lines, but I wanted to give that opportunity before y'all took any further action.
And the discussion amongst us, is that after we come out of the public hearing?
That's
for us
correct.
to talk about
That's
our
correct.
concerns, questions, and so forth?
That's correct.
Okay. So if there's nothing else, then go ahead, sir.
Before we come out, I do have some concerns. This is a big ordeal
Yes,
in the
it is.
county. So I wonder if we should not just, before we come out, continue this so that we can set a continued date to have this discussion so that we can all delve in a little bit deeper to find out more about the situation. If we come out, we're going to have to either reschedule or repost, re-advertise for this to come back before us. If we continue it now and set a date for next month to bring it back, it allows us more time to actually look into it before we close it out and make a complete decision. That's my thinking on it.
And theoretically, you could suspend your rules again and take additional evidence if you don't close the public hearing.
Right.
And take additional information.
Right.
I agree with that because this is a tremendous opportunity. There's also tremendous risks and issues that have been brought up. And I think we need more information to make the best accurate decision for the county and the citizens.
So instead of coming out, I'd like to make a motion that we continue this to our 6 p.m. meeting, our night meeting in September, whatever that is. 24th at 6 p.m. I would like to continue this.
So we would have no other discussion tonight or
No.
talk about whatever concerns each one of us have or anything at this time. We'll do it then.
It just gives us all more time to.
I won't be at that meeting. Can we do it till October?
Well, they'll all be evening meetings here shortly, so.
Yeah, they'll all be. Will the one in September be the Monday? Will it be Monday night meeting? First meeting in September? Okay. So we could do the first meeting in October. That is a 6 p.m. meeting.
Right.
If y'all want to do it. It just gives us more time. Yeah, we can't discuss it, but it gives us more time to look into it. Because when something this big, I want to have as much time as possible to be able to make the right decision. So I make the motion to continue the public hearing till October 7th at 6 p.m.
Second.
All in favor? All right. So it doesn't even close. We just continue.
That's correct.
Right. Okay.
So, I mean, I just think it gives us, this is big, so.
Oh, it's very good, but I was hoping to, what's built to give them some concerns.
Gene, will you announce that a little loud so they can hear you out there?
What's that?
And tell them what, say it out loud so they can hear you in the back.
All right, so we voted to continue this to October 7th. It's a Monday night, 6 o'clock. Later on in our meeting, you'll see we're changing where we used to have a morning meeting at 9 and the evening meeting at 6. Starting in October, we're going to have them all at 6 because a lot of people work at 9 o'clock in the morning. So that's one of the reasons why we're going to be changing that. So we'll be having the first Monday of each month will be at 6 o'clock, and then the fourth Tuesday of each month will be at 6 o'clock. So this will continue till October 7th at the 6 o'clock meeting. And please tell all you can or whatever, but still, someone made a comment that we got our minds made up. I can assure you, there's a lot of stuff I found out tonight that I didn't know. And I've got a lot of concerns and questions myself that y'all probably would like to have heard, but since Commissioner, he's right, it's very important. So we can't talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about October 7th at 6 o'clock p.m.
And that's another reason too. There were about 3 people said, we know you have your minds made up. We don't. I mean, there's no way possible we can have our minds made up with the amount of information that we have coming before us. So, and I hear some comments going on now. I hear extremely well, but to restate the same thing.
As a commissioner,
Right.
A lot of times I don't know nothing until it comes from the planning commission. It goes through a process. I might go down the road and see a sign and go, what's that? I back up to read it. They don't tell me just because I'm a commissioner, he's a commissioner, he's a commissioner. It goes through those channels, and then usually the planning and zoning has their meeting, and really the only reason I know so much about this is all the phone calls, and I'm surprised no one in Lono knew nothing about it, because everybody's been calling and Facebooking and social media it for a while now. So I don't know, but that's just my thoughts, and please don't leave here tonight thinking any commissioner has made up their mind and we're going to just do what we want. That is not the case, at least it's not from my heart. So before we move on, if you want, we'll take a 5-minute break so those who don't want to stay here for the boring stuff can exit the building. Thank you for coming. We're get right back on the number 3 one is case P24-014, request from Quakers for business alcohol license located at 139 Oak Leaf Lane, Gay, Georgia.
Good evening, again.
We gotta go in.
Oh, we gotta go into it.
Yeah, public hearing.
So do I have a motion to go into this public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Now we're in a public hearing. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Good evening again. Quercus Farms, also known as Still Acorn LLC, is coming for you guys to request their alcohol license for their restaurant they have out there at their farm. The restaurant is named Uberto, after his father-in-law. We do have their attorney here, and we do have the licensee here to speak on behalf, and we do have all the proper paperwork we needed for the background checks, and we do have all the payments, and we do have business license in place.
Evening, everybody. My name is Kyle Baker, counsel for the business here on behalf of the applicant and the ownership. We've got Melanie Paul here, the business manager, Angelo Pravanos, one of the owners, and our chef, Bride Smith, here as well. I've got a information packet, brief rundown of the business, what's going on, if I can approach.
Sure.
Do you have a fifth one of those that you can give to the clerk?
Thank you. As Sandra mentioned, this is for the restaurant and the property at Quercus Farms. And I'm not sure how familiar everybody is with the property, but this has been a property that's been in the community for some time, founded in 1977, initially a fully functional ranch, breeding cattle, quarter horses, Scottish Terriers, and serving as a hunting reserve. Beautiful property if anybody's had the chance to be out there. My second page, I've got a rundown of the current ownership group of the business. As I mentioned, two of the owners are here as well. Not present is Kiara, who is the owner of the farm, as well as Kara, Ryan's wife, who's the director of hospitality. Hospitality is a big focus of what this business is going to be putting together. Quercus offers a complete farm-to-table dining experience that focuses on regenerative farming, quality, sustainability, locally sourced ingredients, and that is driven in large part with both of the owners that are here today, Ryan and Angelo. Ryan is, as I mentioned, the chef who has significant experience with award-winning Atlanta restaurant, Staple House. He's very well credentialed, very impressive chef. With respect to the lodging at the property, there's going to be 4 suites, is what they're called, cottages, lodges, various bedroom layouts. Again, emphasis on wellness. The lodges incorporate elements such as organic mattresses, non-toxic finishes, circadian lighting to foster health and healing, and then really gorgeous outdoor seating areas, stone fireplaces, really a nice place to be. With respect to activities going on at the farm, you've got fishing and equestrian, kayaking, field sports, gardening, garden tours, cycling, yoga, and rucking. Great point of emphasis, the last page of the presentation, is responsible sales. Business is emphasizing policies and procedures to make sure that sales are going to be responsible, including an ID Everybody policy. No sales to any individual that's under the age of 21. A minor is not allowed to touch alcohol, not allowed to be given alcohol. It's made clear that an adult that brings a minor isn't allowed to give them alcohol while they're at the property. Employees aren't allowed to provide alcohol to anybody that appears to be intoxicated. Alcohol can't be removed from the premises and taken somewhere else. And similarly, you can't bring alcohol from outside and bring it to the property. And that's enforced by the training all the employees are going to need to go through. All employees must be trained and certified with the Georgia-approved Responsible Alcohol Sales and Service Vendor, RAS class, prior to beginning work. They're recertified on a yearly basis and also must review and sign Quercus's alcohol policy, which for your convenience, I've included a copy at tab 1 to the presentation. That's a quick summary. I know you guys have been here long so far this evening. If anybody has any questions or concerns, happy to answer them. Happy to have the owners and manager here to address them as well.
Is this open to the public or just your guests, the restaurant?
I mean, eventually we'll be open to everyone.
I think something was said about some time ago, it might open up the public. That'd be awesome. We need all the food places we can get and there with it. I was just concerned I was just wondering if it was already open or if it's just for your guests to stay in there. So,
Yeah,
but not at this time.
But we're not open yet.
No. And I'm sorry, step up to the podium there in case they have a question and your name and.
Yes.
Angelos Pervanas. And so we're not open yet to the public. We're hoping to be open towards the end of the month of September. But yes, eventually opening to not just the guests, but everyone.
All right. The board has any questions or concerns? Looks like a beautiful place. Is there anybody here in favor? Is there anyone here to speak against the alcohol license? Nope. So if that's the case, if you have anything else you want to add, if not, we'll go out of.
No, you need opposition as well. Anybody?
I
Sorry, I missed that.
Okay.
Catch up, Mike.
Got a motion to go out of open?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? All right. What's the wishes of the board, or who would like to make a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve the alcohol? Second. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you all for your time tonight.
Short and sweet, right?
That works.
Good luck with it. And it's something that people can cherish and come see Meriwether. It's awesome.
And let us know when it's open to all of us. We'll come.
All right, we have no appointments. We're gonna move right on into unfinished business. First thing is to approve ordinance 2024-03, Article 1, Section 2.2, change commissioners' meetings times.
Yes, sir, Chairman. Last meeting, there was a request to change the meeting times to the first Monday of the month at 6 p.m. and the fourth Tuesday will remain at 6 p.m. So I have updated the ordinance, already looked over by the attorney, and we just need to get that approved to amend that ordinance.
Do I have a motion?
And allow the chair to sign.
I make a motion to approve and allow chair to sign.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Thank you. Update on the courthouse.
Yeah.
Courthouse. All right. Well, last week, Mr. Nash came in and he completed that bird's eye view that we talked about. I spoke to him Friday, spoke to him again yesterday or this morning, I think it was. And he's going to have a report here for us any day now. I think he ran into somebody today told him he had a very busy meeting tonight, so so he's going to get it to me before the end of the week. And we also have been working on a couple of proposals from engineers to provide us some recommendations on not only the roof, but the roof, the remediation, the groundwater intrusion, HVAC upgrades. All of those things we feel like can probably be done as a package. I think you could move those around, maybe do multiples of them at a time. I have not been able to catch back up with the architect who talked to us about the roof. I did contact Principal Construction, and I got a text just a few minutes ago from them, and they're going to come back, take a look at any warranty issues they have up there, and complete those. And I should have a report, and I'll send it out to you guys as soon as we do from Mr. Nash, where he did the flyover on that. And Lou, have you talked to Mr. Gentleman that did the architect? Have you talked to him since?
Not since our last meeting, no, sir.
No, you've been out of town.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
And it might be good to get some of the pictures or get on, with Mr. Nash.
Right.
He pointed a few things out to me that should have been addressed with principal went up there before.
Yeah.
You can tell it's old. You can tell the water's running right in there.
Right.
So whoever did the work before, how that got overlooked. So we want to make sure those 2 or 3 items, if it should have fell underneath their scope, that we have them look at that while they're here.
Right. And I should have we should have Mr. Nash's report before principal comes back to meet.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know, it's ready. He thought he was going to come tonight.
Right.
And I'm the one that said tonight might not be a good night for a slide presentation and a report. So, so that's why he didn't come tonight.
As soon as we can, and we'll kind of use that as some of the basis to look at this engineering. I mean, what we did last year, we didn't have any specifications. We just had to bid on what would you do. So we ended up with 2 different bids. The architect that come and looked at it said, well, I like the TPO better, and even Mr. Nash mentioned TPO, which I like better too. But I don't think that it was a complete job. What we want to do is be sure we do not have any more water leakage in from the domes, from the roof, from anything. And then, and once we get the proposals in and specifications, we can write the RFP in-house to get it out. But until we get those, we can. I did talk to an engineering company this morning, and I know Blue this afternoon worked on a scope of work, and we're going to get together probably tomorrow and send that back out. So that's what we're working on there, and I'm anxious to see the pictures that Mr. Nash took and that report, and I'll send those to you guys as soon as we have them available.
I know this is a process, but we've been talking about this for so long, so I hope this isn't something to where we're waiting that RFP and then paper in December before we tell everybody Merry Christmas. We're hoping to have an answer by January. So
well, I'm hoping
this roof has got to get stopped
long before then.
Yes, we got to
before
get
then. We did put it together. We did it. We asked for an architect to look at it. I wasn't involved in that. I think I had the code that day.
You did.
And and he came back with some different things. And I tried to call him, but I hadn't been able to catch him. I called him 2 or 3 times last week, and I need to catch back up with him.
So
anyway,
sorry. So at this time, we still don't know what the root cause is.
What the root cause is.
What the root cause is of water getting inside the building.
We got several things that was pointed out.
I understand. So at which statement here and person involved is the person to give us that? This architect, this Nash guy, who is the person that's going to be able to come in and tell us, here's what's wrong, and then you can figure out how you want to fix it. But this is where the water's coming from, this is what's wrong, this is what needs to be addressed. We don't have that yet.
No, we don't have that yet. And I tell you what, we got multiple problems. The water is coming from multiple locations. We got it coming probably in the dome, probably down through the opening of the dome. We may have it near the parapet walls coming in. May have it on some of the other areas that's up there that are leaking. We got some groundwater intrusion. I mean, I know we got some of that. And so all those things is what we need somebody to come and say, this is what's wrong. This is what we need to fix. And then we need to get it fixed.
So what does this board need to do to make that happen?
We've been trying to get that done.
Yeah.
We've been trying since your last meeting to get an architect out.
What is an architect to draw it?
Or an engineer to tell you what all your problems are.
What we'll do is that, I know my time is short, but I will take care. I'll get that out, get that information back to you guys, and then we can see what we got to get it done. And I'll just ask the engineers to come on.
Maybe we just reach out to a couple of other counties and see who they use.
Yeah, they're gonna use the same people. I mean, they're going, there's about 50 different engineers companies, and they're going to use some of the same people.
Yeah.
Now, I think that one of the architect, didn't he say he had somebody that he worked with?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But he was more of a contractor, right?
He was. It was a general contractor.
We want somebody to tell us what the fix is, how to fix it, and and then from there, we will get it fixed.
I guess that's what I'm asking is, so we've reached out to engineering firms to get an engineer to come out and inspect and give us that answer. And we can't get a call back, we can't get a date set, we can't get,
I've got,
that's what I'm
I just
confused
talked to the
about.
engineer this morning. I had the architect, I've called him, the one who looked at it, and I don't know whether I've been busy, he's been busy, we hadn't been able to connect. I called him 2 or 3 times last week and left him some voicemails, but I will continue to reach out to him. But this morning, with not having a return call, I did call an engineering firm. I think you talked to an engineering firm.
Yes, sir.
And what I want to do is get them down here, get them up there and look at it, and then get us back and tell us what we need to do. Because, you know, we don't want to spend money fixing it, and then at the end of the day, we still have a leak. We don't
No,
want
we've already done some of that.
and then that way, if an engineer comes out and says this will do it, and it don't do it, we can go back and say, look, you said this would do it. And we could, you know, possibly engage him to try to get it done. But it's just one of those things that's been, you've had a heck of a couple of weeks since y'all met last time, but this is a priority and has been a priority. We'll push to get that taken care of. Courthouses.
Definitely priority over anything we got right now.
I know, yeah, absolutely. And again, I think that when the engineer comes in, we won't just address the roof. We'll address the water intrusion in the basement area. We'll address the HVAC needs, and the remediation needs to be done. So we'll get somebody down here within a week, and when you guys meet again, we'll have your report on what we need to go.
That'd be great.
Okay.
It'd be nice if within the next 30, 45 days,
Oh, yeah.
we've got a report. We're asking for who wants to bid on it, and we're working on it.
Yeah, we need to go ahead and get that going, and I'm hoping in less than 30 to 45 days we'll have moving forward with that thing once and for all.
Any other questions on the update of the courthouse? We'll move right on to number 3, update on the grant from the Rachel Ray Foundation in partnership with the Atlanta Humane Society.
He did that.
He did that earlier.
George did that.
George did
Oh,
that
that's right,
earlier.
that's right, that's
I don't
right.
know why we, I just saw
He
that,
jumped
like,
the gun
who
on
already
it.
did it?
Yeah, he came up at the wrong time, but it's okay.
He did that in his department head speech.
Number 4, confirmation of moratorium for section 32-21, waiver to animal limitations.
At your last meeting, you agreed to extend the moratorium on the waiver for animal limitations. I have produced that document for you, and that waiver is extended. You'd extended it for 90 days from the date of August 14th. I believe that's going to be November the 12th, and you'll all need to sign that to approve that.
Yeah, that's paperwork catching back up.
Okay. All right. New business. Discussion of ordinance amendment 2024-04, Chapter 2, Article 2, Section 2-36 to allow county clerk to countersign checks.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, in absence of the county administrator with the county clerk being an appointed position, staff will recommend that the county clerk be a countersigner along with the finance director, which is myself, the chairman, currently Gene King, vice chair Adam Worsley. They countersign all checks with one of our signatures, just in the absence of a county administrator.
And I'm not going to be here on
Yeah, and with Mr. Gay's retirement out there Friday, it would keep check signing in-house. And like I said, with this being an appointed position by the board, just as the county administrator would be, staff recommends the board to consider allowing the county clerk to countersign all checks.
After Friday, who allowed that?
Huh?
Who allowed after
I
Friday?
don't know. That's what my wife's told me.
Section 36
She
is-
don't believe it yet.
Payables altogether, 37 is just
So
payroll
you won't need a
checks.
chair to come in and sign checks no more?
If you would like to, sir.
What's that?
If you would like to, there's,
I've been doing it. When y'all tell me there's stuff that needs to be signed.
And there's checks.
we have checks that we have to do fast checks that are come up in dire emergency that need a signature that day. It's just, we run checks on the 10th and 25th. We would hate to have it during the meeting where you would be here for 30 or 45 minutes signing checks.
We have 4 people signing now.
Yeah.
And in the absence of, we'll still need 4.
If he's out, I can sign with you.
Yeah, and the ordinance reads and or the
Well, I would
finance
still say
director.
you would go through that line. In other words, if I can't be here, if I'm out of town, or the next person, you know.
The way the ordinance reads is countersign with the finance director or the chair or the vice chair.
Right.
So that's the way the ordinance reads.
Okay.
So even if he's out of town, sign with
Right,
you guys.
right, yeah.
We try to keep you guys from having to come up here to.
I understand that, and I appreciate that too, and I'm sure,
Yeah.
Adam would too. But at the same time, I wouldn't want it to be where somebody else is always, and we're not ever here looking at anything or
Oh, yeah.
being on top of things, you know? So,
Yeah, we understand. It's just,
great.
That
So
way.
it's up to the board, need a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Yeah, I make a motion.
To,
He seconded it.
okay, that sounds good. All in favor?
I made a motion for what we were talking
I'll
about.
do the second
For
one.
that section 2-36, we need a separate one for 2-37.
Correct, Chair.
Right, okay.
All right, number 2, discuss ordinance amendment 2024-05, chapter 2, article 2, section 2-37, allow the county clerk to countersign payroll checks.
This is just a different ordinance. I don't know why there's two different for payroll and one for payables. They should be together, but in our ordinance it reads payables and payroll. This is the payroll section.
Okay. Do you have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Emmett trying to jump ahead.
Number 3, award of bids for bridge and culvert replacement repairs funded by Local Roads Assistance, LRA.
yes, I'll go over that with you guys. We opened 25 bids the other day, which I was really, that was the most we'd ever had. But we did have, a lot of them there to be opened and reviewed. And so at this point in time, and Michael and I talked about it this morning, but I have some real concerns with one of the people who got a couple of bids in their bid bond. I need to check that out before I make a recommendation to you guys. We also had a couple other companies who were getting the work. The Bill Coughlin and I spoke today, and he wants to kind of go out and make sure they understand the scope of the work. And we got some bids that are very low. We got one bid that's, less than $50,000, and the next lowest bid is $65,000 more. So there's something wrong with that bid.
Yes.
So anyway, based upon the analysis, and this is for Trammell Road, LL Revel, Tigner, and Magnolia Road. What we recommend at this time is that the one that we are clear we met with is the Trammell Road Bridge with Piedmont Paving. They were the low bid at $89,800. The next bid was $164,960. They do know what the scope of work is, and we recommend at this time that we award that bid to them, Piedmont Paving. But what I'd like to do is at the next meeting, we'll have all these other things worked on, documented, and we'll bring you the rest of the three culverts at that time. But this is the over $1 million that the county received from GDOT.
That's right.
That needs to be, spent, has to be spent on transportation, and working with you guys, we determined it was needed to be, these were good projects, but, and they are, and I'm glad we got so many bids, a lot of good qualified folks, but a couple things we do need to check out before we make a recommendation. But I would make a recommendation on the bridge on Trammell.
So we'll make a motion tonight on the Trammell Bridge one, get that one forward, and at the next meeting, we'll
You'll
see
have
what
all
the
three
recommendation
others, yeah. I'll have a chance that way to talk with some more folks on that bid bond and some other stuff. I got it.
Any questions, or somebody want to make a motion to go ahead and approve that, award that bid for Trammell?
You have the bid, we don't have copies of bids in here.
I got them, yeah, they're in the office.
Yeah, I don't have those.
I did a bid analysis of it, and we don't have to do the one tonight, we can do it next week too if you want to, we just do all four of them at once. That's an analysis of the bids that I did right now.
For Trammell Road.
And the following sheets are the ones for the others as well.
The bids are available for review in our office.
Right. Yeah.
Those are some big difference from one to the other, and I know, Piedmont, I've seen them do work all over Cowee, and they know what they're doing, so I don't know why they're such a big.
I don't know, I think
Large
they,
number.
they've looked at it before, some of the others may have not looked at it, that they've just, I don't know, bid or went out there by themselves, but I feel comfortable with Piedmont, but I'd be glad to holding it, and we can just bring all four at one time if you want to do that.
Whatever the board likes.
Will it get the bridge done sooner if we do it tonight, or is it really gonna matter?
maybe a couple weeks, that's what you get.
They're busy,
Well,
they're
a couple
putting the
weeks,
schedule
yeah.
like they're doing all, like this patching we awarded them, they're trying to get going to the patching, you know, I mean. it's just-
Piedmont has the opportunity to also win the other bids as well, right?
They are not low bid on any of the others.
Okay.
They're not low bid on any of the others. They came in second on one.
That one done.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve item 1 of the Trevor Road Bridge to Piedmont Paving for $89,800
$89,800.
to come out of the LRA account from GDOT.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Good. And then
We'll
bring the
move
others
that
back
one
to us.
forward, we'll bring the others.
Please.
Okay. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you. Number 4, amendment to record-keeping service agreement and trust or custodial agreement float compensation disclosure, Empower.
Yes, sir. We received this from Empower, who handles our retirement program. It's an amendment to record-keeping services agreement and trust or custodial agreement. What it is a float compensation disclosure that the company is wanting us to sign. And I am listed as plan administrator as well as finance director Gordon, so I just wanted to get a board approval to sign.
And I would make a recommendation that you approve that maybe on contingent upon review by legal, and I've told them I'll take a look at it as well.
I reviewed it earlier this week, or late last week, I believe, and it didn't look like it was making any substantive changes to what you already have. It looked like what it was doing was just clarifying the float compensation from the original document to the new document.
All right, no questions, need a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion, second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Then number 5, the one we added is the change order for Piedmont.
Right. Piedmont was working on the entrance up at 54 to the KB Auto, this driveway. And they could not pass the GDOT compaction test due really to bad soils, wet conditions and all. And so they went out, and I think you guys had already approved this. They brought a geotechnical firm in, Terracon, and they made recommendations on solutions to the change order. And so that involved adding some triaxial geogrid and including some 18 inches of GAB at the undercut areas, 120 tons. And so needing to move this because they're just sitting dead in the water up there. I did go ahead and just approve it, and the reason I'm bringing it back because it was $9,380. The reason I'm really bringing it back is because you had a contract that you had signed with Piedmont, and this is a change order to that contract. So I just need to get it back.
And what's the amount of change order?
The amount of change order is $9,380, and that is for the work to allow them to go ahead and move forward on doing that driveway.
And I don't doubt that at all, but just for record sakes, do we like keep stuff filed in there that where GDOT turned it down, so forth? We have documentation?
There's documentation.
Just in case it was ever open records?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And the reason for this, that I wanted to get this back in the record, I didn't want the contract to say this, and somebody down the road say, well, you know, it's $9,000 more. This is why. You know, we'd have that in the record.
So we need a motion to approve this change order?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Funding from SPLOST.
Sorry. Yes.
And other parties, yeah. All of them too.
All of that.
All right, so we're gonna move right along, report from the county administrator.
Okay. All right, let's see where we got here. Okay, we, as we mentioned earlier, we opened the bids on the culverts and bridge projects. We had answered quite a few questions a couple weeks beforehand, and we're working on analyzing all those bids now. Courthouse roof, already talked about that a little bit. We have contacted a couple engineering firms, and we talked about earlier what we would do with that. Of course, the contractor would fly over. I did meet on the DFAX building and on the gymnasium, and I'll discuss that with you guys in greater detail. The road patching update. Bill called on the road with the contractor today who was about to put these proposals together on the road patching per ton. And some of these roads we chose need so much work. It's very, very, very expensive. And so my thought is that we might want to look at those once we get the actual dollars in, estimates in. And we might want to think about, instead of taking the roads that are really bad, we may need to convert them to like a full depth reclamation project. And we may need to pick some other roads that, need some lesser amounts of patching. Because we're talking about serious dollars on that.
Well, I would think if it's gonna be serious dollars, we would just go ahead and scratch it and go look at the other road, and then bring that list forward and get those going.
Yeah, that's just what, I don't want to talk to Bill about that, but I just think that, we're talking about $400,000 on this. And we might be able to do it full depth reclamation. If you patch it, those other areas that you don't patch may fail. So it's we just got so many roads in such bad condition, that's the problem. But we'll have that information prior to y'all's next meeting as well, okay? Very busy, attended quite a few personnel meetings and hearings. Met with George on animal control, a couple of issues. Sandra and I met on a couple of ordinance changes and all, worked on that, and just been here in the office and working. Our staff has done a good job. They were very productive last week and what all they were able to get done.
It did.
So that's what I have, and appreciate.
What's he got there?
Oh, one more thing. And this is the C.A. Owens. This is the jail locks, and I'll tell you all about this a little more later too. I've talked to you about it already. I needed to get some work done at the courthouse, at the jail very quickly. So I went out and just authorized, because we're talking about an emergency situation. I went out and authorized with some doors that went unlocked. Authorized C.A. Owens, who's the company that's going to come and do our locks and doors, to come and start working on those, to make those repairs immediately. And again, I'll talk about that in a few more minutes. But I just want to let you guys know there again, that was an emergency situation we needed to deal with. And it was kind of brought to our attention at the last minute. So I wanted to mention that to y'all too.
County Commissioners, comments?
I just like to thank the staff for the job they're doing and all the employees, and I've been traveling around a little bit. I've been looking at the motor grader operators, just trying to check on things and see if I can help in any way. That's all I have.
Mr. Ward?
Nothing big, other than just thank everyone for the work they're doing and the effort they're putting in. Thank you.
Thank y'all for keeping the county going. That's all I have.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. I know there's lots been put on the shoulders of the staff, and while we're looking for administrator, and y'all have stepped up the game, and it's very appreciative. And I just want to mention for Mr. Carter too, the teams that played Lamar County, 7-under, won 21-0. This is the football season going on now. 8-under won 6-0, 10-under won 27-15. They had a cookout the other night there behind the school. Everything went really well, and they had a lot of great support out there. So they're excited we're able to move forward as we agree to use the football field over at Flint River, and everything's moving forward there. So, and I thank everybody for what they've been doing, including the county attorney. Thank you.
Can he give an update really quickly on some things?
They've been doing a lot of stuff.
Since the last meeting, commissioners, we've reached out to most of the contacts that were left out. There's a checklist in the admin board that we have reached out to almost everything that's been on the consensus outlaying. We got responses to most everybody. C.A. Owens, the locks and the doors, they estimated to begin working with the week of September 30th. Bates Mechanical doing jail plumbing, they estimate to start working within the next 2 weeks. Wow. So we are moving forward with the jail process. Me and Allison reached out to them, and we got a lot of answers to a lot of outstanding questions, and we're working, moving forward with everything that the board has asked in previous meetings to address. So we plan on the next meeting to be able to update you on a lot of the outstanding things that the board has asked about.
Fantastic. Anything else from the county attorney?
I have no report. I do understand we've got executive session for litigation, personnel, and real estate.
Yes, we do. Anything else? If not, we'll make a motion to go into executive session. So moved. Got a motion, second?
Second.
We're in, all in favor? We're in executive session at 8:13. I need a motion to go back into regular session.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, we're back in regular session. There was no action taken in executive session. If there's anything we've overlooked or forgot about or needs to be mentioned, mention it now. If not, I need a motion to end the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Second.
Second. All in favor?